Welcome to Sugar Pills, a practical guide to self-care, where your host, writer, actor, and producer Candy Washington helps you live a more joyful life with a cheeky dash of pop culture news. Be sure to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and join the conversation on Instagram at Candy Washington. Let's go!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sugar Pills, a practical guide to self-care. As always, I'm your host, Candy Washington, and I am so honored to help you lead a more joyful life. So today's episode is all about how to heal from a breakup, how to move on from your ex in a healthy, empowered way to get your glow up on. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like the video, and share. If you're listening on the podcast, also be sure to like, rate, and review, and subscribe. If you need extra support, you can book some one-on-one coaching with me. Everything's linked below. You can grab the Journey to Self-Love journal. You can join our free VIP Facebook group and also grab the Art of Self-Love Masterclass. That is free. So with that, let's dive into today's episode, which is how to heal from a breakup and move on and glow up from an ex. So the first thing I want to say when it comes to healing from a breakup is giving yourself the time and space to actually feel your feelings. So this video is actually a request that I got from multiple subscribers, multiple viewers that really wanted an episode on how to heal from a breakup, if you're angry, how to move on quickly, all of that stuff. And I totally get it. But I think when you go through a breakup, whether you are the person breaking up with the person or if you are the person who is broken up with, even if you're completely over the person or whatever you want to call it, give yourself the space and the grace to not feel that you have to heal quickly or get over it quickly or move on quickly, right? Give yourself the space and the grace to feel how you feel. Anytime any relationship ends, whether you instigated it or the other person did, there can be hurt, there can be anger, there can be shame, there can be embarrassment, there can be all of those things. So give yourself the time and the permission to feel how you feel. For whatever reason why the relationship broke up, if there's cheating, infidelity, emotional abuse, disrespect, not spending time, hot and cold, wanting to be a situationship, friends with benefits, like whatever the case is, not really committing, whatever the reason is for the breakup, it's probably hurtful. Even if you've gotten to the place where you need to break up with this person, that can still hurt. You can still be angry. You can feel the loss of what that relationship could have been or what you thought that relationship was going to be. So give yourself the time and the grace to feel how you feel. We're not going to get stuck in these feelings. We're not getting stuck in hurt. We're not getting stuck in anger. We're not getting stuck in shame or embarrassment. But we're going to allow ourselves to be a human being and feel how we actually feel. Hey! Hi, Vintage Optimism. Just yay, stoked to catch live. Hello, Candy Canes. Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us. That's right, you guys. If you're listening on the podcast, be sure to join us over on our YouTube because that is where you can join us live and ask questions in real time. So thank you so much for joining. And as you guys come in, be sure to just put your questions in the chat box and I can get to them. So give yourself permission to grieve and to feel whatever you need to feel. The second step to healing from a breakup is to talk about it. Talk it out. Talk to your friends, have a supportive friend group, but also know that you don't want to exhaust your friend group. You don't want to be the person that's always talking about your ex, always talking about your breakup and blah, 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 blah. It's not to dismiss your pain. It's not to say that you can't go to your friends for support, but sometimes you need to get extra support, whether it's from a therapist or a counselor or, a support group for people who are going through heartache, whatever the case is. Seek support and talk it out, but also know that your friends have their own limits and their own boundaries. So go to your friends, talk it out. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. Don't think people think that, oh, you failed at love. Oh, you weren't good enough. Oh, this, that, and the third. Oh, you played the fool. Let all of that go. Talk it out. Talk it out to your friends, but also find someone else to talk to, whether it's a support group, whether it's a therapist or a counselor, because you want to get these emotions out of you. You don't want to stay stuck in the hurt. You don't want to stay stuck in the anger. And you also don't want to overanalyze things in your head, like keep going over what could have been, what could have went different, what was said, going over the fights, going over the infidelity, going over the disrespect, all in your head, right? You want a healthy way to get it out. So talk it out, journal it out, but get it out of you. The next step, which I really don't hear a lot of people talking about when it comes to healing from a breakup, is don't overanalyze yourself and your ex. Yes, you want to take accountability for your actions in the relationship which led to the breakup, because it always takes two to tango. And you also want to hold your partner accountable for their position and what they did. But sorry guys, 1 second. Okay. You also want to hold them accountable for what they did in the relationship, right? But you don't want to overanalyze, play armchair psychologist for yourself or for the other person. What I mean by that is, a lot of times we go through a breakup and the first thing we say is, oh, my ex is a narcissist, they're a sociopath, they're blah, 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 they have all these issues, da, 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 and you just kind of go off the deep end diagnosing people. Oh, she's bipolar, she's crazy, she's this, that, and the third, really trying to shame and blame the other person, where maybe your ex isn't a narcissist. Maybe they have selfish tendencies that showed up in the relationship, but that doesn't make somebody a narcissist. You know, maybe your ex did have certain mood swings or wasn't able to communicate everything correctly to you. That doesn't mean she's crazy or bipolar, right? So, whether your ex is a guy or a girl, whatever, right? So don't go into over analyzing mode where you're literally naming everything in the book to your ex. And also don't do that to yourself. You know, we don't talk about this enough. Sometimes we'll go into like, oh, I must have just been a pushover. You know, I must have, had such low self-esteem. It was my fault. I saw so many red flags. I must have not been pretty enough or thin enough or curvy enough or smart enough or good enough. Whatever the case is, we then on the opposite side go into overanalyzing ourselves. Like, what was so wrong with me? What was what was so wrong with me that this person did X, Y, and Z, that the relationship didn't work out? Oh, it must be because of my daddy issues, my mommy issues, how I look, how much money I have, how much education I have, whatever it is, right? So sometimes when we go through breakups, we go into this over analytical thing where we want to demonize the ex and call them every name in the book, from narcissist to bipolar to crazy to all that stuff, to totally annihilating our own self-worth. Because when we go through breakups, sometimes our self-esteem can take a hit. You can start kind of not feeling worthy and not good enough. And you kind of go into that mode of, what was so wrong with me that they didn't choose me, that this didn't work out, right? So we want to be careful not to go down those paths. Those are very destructive paths. And the way you don't go down them is what I said in the first 2 steps. You give yourself the time to feel how you feel. You're a human being. Sometimes we might feel embarrassed after a breakup. We might feel ashamed. We might feel hurt and angry. Allow yourself to feel it and then talk it out. Get it out of you. Get an objective opinion who can walk you through the pain. So you don't just say, oh, he's a narcissist, or you don't just say, I'm worthless. You actually get a healthy perspective, and you realize that sometimes relationships don't work out. Everybody has their own stuff they need to work through. Everybody has healthy and unhealthy coping mechanism, communication styles, relationship attachments. But that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with your ex, and it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It just means you're two human beings trying to navigate this world and trying to figure it out. And just because you went through a breakup doesn't mean you're worthless, Doesn't mean your ex is bipolar. Doesn't mean any of that. It just means that you're two people who are in a relationship that in this moment in time just isn't working. But it's hard to have that perspective when you're in it. That's why you want to talk to someone. That's why you want to journal it out. That's why you want to have a really good support system. So you don't bring that into your next relationship. So you don't bring the belief that, all women are crazy, or all men cheat, or I only attract narcissistic people, or everybody leaves me, right? You don't want to bring all of that. That's what we talk about baggage, right? You don't want to bring all of that to your next relationship, because then you're going to self-sabotage it, because you haven't healed your belief system. You haven't um, raised your self-esteem back to a healthy place. And remember, self-worth and self-esteem is on a spectrum. You can have high self-esteem in one area, low self-esteem in another, or high self-esteem at one point and then low self-esteem at another. Like, sometimes that can take a hit. That's why you want to take the time to build yourself back up in a healthy way. That's what takes us to the fourth part, which is refocus on taking care of yourself. Refocus on taking care of yourself. Don't feel like you have to rebound. Don't feel like the best way to get over a guy is get under another one. Don't feel like you have to start dating quickly. Don't feel like you have to put yourself back out there. Yes, you don't want to self-isolate. Yes, you don't want to kind of guard your heart because you're scared of being hurt again. You're scared of things not working out again. You don't want to do that, but you also don't want to rush your own process. You also don't want to get back out there so quickly because you want to prove something, right? Sometimes people rush into another relationship after a breakup because they're trying to prove to their ex, I'm over you, whatever, you didn't matter, on to the next. Or they're trying to prove something to their friends. See, I didn't play the fool. See, I'm just, doing me, hot girl summer, or whatever it is, right? You don't want to rush your process. You don't want to do anything, date, sexual, whatever it is, as a way to escape, as a way to numb, and as a way to cope with your feelings. Yes, if you authentically are ready to date, absolutely date. Yes, if you authentically are ready for sexual relationships with somebody else, then yeah, knock your socks off, right? But that's only if you're doing it from a place of, I feel good about myself, and these are the choices I'm making for myself. It's all about intentionality. Where is the energy coming from? Where is the intention coming from? Are you dating and having these sexual relationships because you want to numb out and you want to prove something and you just want to move on quickly and skip the whole healing process? Or are you really in a place where you're just like, you know what, this is my life and I'm going to do me and I'm going to have fun and I'm ready to move on? So it's never about what you do, and it's never even about the time that you do it. It's always, why are you doing it? What is the intentionality behind it? So give yourself the time to focus on yourself. Get back into the hobbies you love, connect back with friends and family, start a new whatever you want to do, whether it's, hiking or biking or yoga or Pilates, or pick up an instrument or learn a new language, or pour yourself into your work, into your business, right? Meeting new people, going out and traveling. Focus back on yourself. Take the focus off of what your ex did, why they did it, and all of that stuff to, I want to relearn myself. I want to date myself. I want to pour into myself because I am worthy and I am deserving. And I know that sometimes relationships just don't work out. And I now know that I have the tools to take care of myself after my heart, I don't like to say heart broken, but after heartache. So then you learn how to trust yourself again. And then you learn that you don't have to guard your heart. You need to be smart about your heart. You need to create boundaries. You need to have healthy communication. You need to heed red flags. You need to know what the green flags are. Yes, of course, in that sense. But you don't need to shut yourself down. Because sometimes the way we cope after breakups is, one, we want to just go out there and dip and do it and just, numb through all of the whatever, And then the opposite side, sometimes we sort of shut down emotionally. We are scared to put ourselves out there. We're fearful of being hurt again. We're fearful of being rejected again. We're fearful of it not working out again. And both of those things are just trying to protect us from feeling hurt. But when you know that you are a human being and that sometimes things hurt, but you know that you are empowered and strong enough to hold space for your hurt and work through your hurt and not be consumed by your hurt, then you have the confidence and trust in yourself to say, you know what? I am going to put myself back out there again. And whether or not it works out, I'm going to be okay. Doesn't mean I'm not good enough. Doesn't mean I should be embarrassed or ashamed. It doesn't mean I'm unlovable. It doesn't mean all men are this or all women are that. It just means I'm a human being and I'm trying to find the other human being to do life with. That's all it really means. So when you take the pressure off, when you take the intensity off, and you take all of that off of it, and you can just say, I'm a person looking for love. Who isn't, right? And then that's okay. So that's how you really heal from a breakup, and that's how you glow up from your ex. You focus on yourself. Don't overanalyze your ex. Don't overanalyze yourself. Give yourself time, grace, and compassion to feel how you feel, to grieve it, and to move through it. And always seek support, whether it's through friends, whether it's through a therapist, whether it's through a support group or family. Seek support. Don't think that you have to pretend that you're okay in order to save face, in order to not look like whatever you think people look like when they go through breakups, right? It's okay. A lot of people do feel shame and embarrassment after a breakup. They think, well, what will my friends think about me? What will my family think about me? I'm never going to find someone, another one bites the dust, all of that crap in your head, right? But that's all BS. Relationships come and go. People come in your life, people leave your life, and it's okay. You take the lesson from it, you take the wisdom from it, you heal your self-worth, you heal your self-esteem. And from that place, you start to dip in and do it and do you. And that's how you heal from a breakup. Through self-compassion, through self-grace, through self-reflection, and through self-forgiveness. Your ex isn't a villain. I'm not talking about like outlier stuff, I'm just talking about like, even if he cheated, some people cheat, or even if she cheated, right? Your ex is a person who is also imperfect. It doesn't mean that you allow the behavior. It doesn't mean you have to take them back. It doesn't mean you absolve them of their guilt. But when you give somebody else the grace to be a human being, then you give yourself the grace to also be a human being. You take both of you take yourself off the hook and them off the hook. Right? Hey, Joan, she says, facts, what is up? How are you, sweetheart? Yay, everyone. So there you have it. That is how you heal from a breakup and you glow up from your ex. You refocus on yourself. Just because you go through a breakup, whether they broke up with you or you broke up with them, I want to reiterate this before we head out. It does not mean that there's anything wrong with you. It does not mean you're unlovable. It does not mean you're unworthy. It does not mean you'll never find love. It really just means at this particular time, these two particular people are just not meant to be in a romantic relationship right now. It is not a reflection of your lovability and your self-worth. Even if you stayed longer than you knew you should, even if you ignored the red flags, even if you were the one that cheated, even if you were the one that wasn't the healthiest of partners, right? Because remember, we're also taking accountability. We're not blaming ourselves. We're not criticizing ourselves. We are not putting ourselves down, but we're also being self-aware and self-reflective to say, in what area in my relationship could I have shown up differently? Could I have shown up in a healthier way, in a more positive way, in a more conscious way? And it's not to criticize yourself, it's to empower yourself so that your next relationship is healthier, happier, more fulfilled, more fulfilling. and you come to that relationship with a new knowing, with a new wisdom, right? That is why we do self-reflection. That is why we take accountability. But accountability doesn't mean that you're putting yourself down. It means you're empowering yourself with the tools to do better, be better, and have better next time. Okay? Yes. Yes. Hello, all. So there you have it. Those are my tips on how to heal from a breakup and blow up from your ex. So as always, if you have any questions, be sure to email me over at assistant@candywashington.com or find me on Instagram @candywashington. Give me a follow and a DM. And also be sure to join our Facebook group that's linked below. You can grab our self-love journal. You can book some one-on-one coaching with me. You can get the Create Your Dream Life course. There are so many ways to connect and get extra support. So just be sure to look below and check everything out. So as always, you guys, until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Be well. Bye.
Welcome to Sugar Pills, a practical guide to self-care, where your host, writer, actor, and producer Candy Washington helps you live a more joyful life with a cheeky dash of pop culture news. Be sure to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and join the conversation on Instagram @Candy Washington. Let's go.